Hola amigos, and welcome back to another episode of La Vida Verde podcast. I am your host, Matthew Human, here at Finca Vida Verde. And my guest this week is Natasha Athanasiadou. She is also known as Alchemies. She is Greek. She is from the city of Athens, an Athenian goddess to be sure. She is a life and business coach, a DJ, an ecstatic dance facilitator, and the founder of Generation Generous, which we're going to talk about as we talk to her. She was one of our guests living here at the farm for just over a month, and she was our midnight DJ at our New Year's party this year. It's going to be a great conversation, or it's an honor to have her here. So we hope you enjoy. Natasha Athanasiadou, welcome back to Finca Vida Verde.
It's amazing to be here.
Alchemies, as it were. Natasha was here staying in our cabin for a little over a month, and before she came, she said, you told me that you saw one of my videos, an Instagram thing, which is it's so interesting to me how the smallest thing, like that was just a little bit of inspiration one day. I was like, I'm just gonna go film. It had nothing, it wasn't like a thing, but then from that, the fruit of, I had been praying like, okay, who's gonna be my next guest? And you were like, it's gonna be me. And you forced me to up my game, like to get the shower. I wanted to get the shower ready for you. I'm like, I have this beautiful Athenian goddess coming. I have to get the shower ready. I have to get the star. You also work online, so it was like, I got to get the Starlink happening. I mean, that was a matter of time, because actually you left right before the Starlink got here, like a couple days actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were a real blessing. And as we were talking, I got to learn a lot about you and kind of how you just have this way of you're just very authentic. And I really want to let people know that. Like, Natasha, you're a very authentic person. I really appreciate that about you. And living here with you was super fun. It was always an adventure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. I like to receive that from you is an honor.
Thank you.
It's true that I was sitting in Athens. I was in Athens and I was contemplating where I'm going to go in Costa Rica, where I'm going to live, because last year when I came, I was in Ovita. So I was like, I want something different. I was considering the area, but then I saw your video, and you know what resonated?
What?
Authenticity.
Oh.
So I just grasped
That's
that,
one to
and
know one.
I just felt your message at that moment and your passion around what you believe and what you feel
Mm-hmm.
for what you were saying. And I felt like I want to go there and I'm going to contact this man. Of course, I knew you from Envision and things like
Right.
I have seen. And also last year when I came,
Right, you came to my party.
I came to your party.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm like, I'm going to contact him and see if I can go there and live there. So you were literally also a blessing, because I was not very into coming here. I was like, I was considering it, but I'm like, maybe I go back to where I was last year. So thank you.
And which was where?
In Ovita.
In Ovita, right.
So, and this, I'm already 2.5 months here, and it's already a huge, huge blessing for me in all respects.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, no, so yeah, and I was just doing like a farm tour, and yes, I am very passionate about my plants and my gardens, and I think I was specifically talking about the turmeric and that. I remember that like,
Yes.
because I don't do a lot of Instagram lives, oddly. I just don't take always. I'm just so busy moving around all the time that I don't really take the time to like do the social media thing. I have to be reminded or remind myself sometimes to do that. But but whenever I do it, it always fruits and inspire. Like you never know who you're reaching out there in the world, and that's part of our message, is to get the message out there to reach the right people, especially right now as we're calling in the right investor partners. It's like we want to reach the right people that are like resonant with this place. So
For sure. For sure.
sorry.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. And you lived here, but now you are in you're in Ecovia. You were in Ecovia, and now you're in Alegria. So I
Yes.
wanted to ask you about that. Like before, I definitely want to talk about your past, your history as
Mm.
well. But I just while we're on the topic, like
Yeah,
what you've now lived in the three main eco villages in our area. I'm curious, like what's that experience been like? Did you
yeah,
have any like takeaways or?
of course.
Yeah, yeah.
First of all, I am very curious generally, and I love exploring things. I feel that it gives me so much insight to feel something first and then, you know, make any choice or make any decision. So even if I had the slightest idea of like investing in any property or living here more long term, I felt that I wanted to even stay closer to these communities to see how it feels. And I'm getting that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I feel it's giving me so much feedback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Just
you get to see.
feeling, seeing, smelling, like being different energies in, I mean, it's a whole valley, of course, but it's, some subtle things that I appreciate a lot.
Yeah, these are three very different kind of communities
Exactly.
in various different levels of development, and just also the way we are operating are very
And also
different.
witnessing that for me as an outsider, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
in some way, like as someone a newcomer, let's say, not an outsider, and a newcomer, it's very interesting to see how Tacotal works, how what is happening in Ecovia, like, and then San Mateo in Alegria. I love that because
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to feel it and then see where am I standing. Am I standing and where?
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I think maybe it's too early to ask you if you've like, like found yeah, like what the takeaway is, because I have the sense that you're still like absorbing the information, but.
yes, I'm still absorbing the information. One very beautiful takeaway that I'm receiving and I have received is that for the last probably 8 years, I've been like nomadic, traveling around and living in all sorts of places, mainly to Asia, Bali, India. And being nomadic, it's a very individualistic way of living. So I learned to live alone, to do things exactly how I want, when I want, take decisions. So being here in community, it's such a huge learning
Mm.
because it teaches me. We talked about this
Yes,
before,
yes,
right?
yeah.
It teaches me how to connect with others, connect with myself, how to learn to communicate with others, my needs, how to be more sovereign with my boundaries and communicate everything with love and
Mm-hmm.
compassion and kindness,
Oof.
have further empathy about other people. Like every work that I was thinking I was doing mentally through my work,
Mm-hmm.
actually, I came here very synchronistically to practice it.
Yeah.
So this is definitely something that I can tell you I'm still learning, but it's for sure there.
No, that makes perfect sense because it's true. It's like living in community is absolutely a whole nother thing. It's like when you stop, like I was saying, I moved around a lot. Whenever things would get too intense, I would just go. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
I would build whatever shit show I built, and then I would like, okay, time to go now, and never had to really face it. But living here and like really putting down roots forces you to really, really grow, really
Yes,
face yourself, and like you said, you're like, oh, there's theories and the ideas that we're learning, but then there's actually putting them into practice. Like you can say I have empathy and for all people, it's much harder when the person who is like really like harming your life, you can have empathy for those people because there's no way, you're stuck with them for some reason or whatever. Yeah.
for sure. I mean, for me that I was born to contemplate and be like a philosopher. I love it. I love it. I love it. It was much needed because it was a calling for me to embody all these things: forgiveness, acceptance, empathy, kindness, compassion. All these simple terms that we understand with the mind
Hmm.
is a completely different level to, as you said, exactly with people that can trigger a lot of parts in you to be able
Hmm.
to do that and hold this love.
Yeah.
So it's, oh, I'm so grateful.
Well,
I'm
I
very
really enjoyed living with you. I felt like we had a good flow. You're very like you are very independent. You would spend sometimes entire days I wouldn't see you. Like you're right there, and you'd like whenever I was over here, you'd sneak into the kitchen and sneak back,
I do that.
and other days we'd have very social experiences. But yeah, I think it's great. You know, that's part of being in community. And also, I will say like you are a very good communicator. You don't take things personally, or you're very reflective, which that I think would be that's hard. I've lived with all kinds of people, you know, obviously here, and the ones that you can't you're afraid to communicate with because you're afraid how they're going to take it is so hard. And maybe I've been guilty of that to other people, you know, like I've worked on that a lot in my life of how not to take things personally and how to
Mhm.
just you know, we'll just take it for what it is. Like, okay, like this is not a personal thing. This person has an issue. Maybe it's them. Maybe I'm affecting it. And like, what can I take away from it? I really liked enjoyed that about you
Mm.
because we were able to just be very, you know, open and direct and you celebrated your birthday while we were here. It's
Yes,
very
yes.
nice.
It was a blessing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so you said you love philosophy. So this is a nice segue. You are from Athens. You're from Greece. You're from the home of philosophy.
Right.
Greek philosophy is like, you know, and it's funny because that's really is. You really do love that. And you oftentimes have quoted, you know, ancient Greek philosophy, which is, you know, we all learn it growing up. Or I did learned it growing up, you know, to some degree, but like you come from that. Like you are that embodied. So what is yeah, give
Oh,
us
thank you.
just a little bit about growing up in Athens and kind of like what was that like and what was your
Mm-hmm.
life? What was your world like growing up? Like just
Mm.
a little primer, like a little background.
Your background. Thank you for that. Well, I was born in London originally.
Oh, you were born in
Yes, I was
London.
born in London because my parents went met there. My mother
Right.
is was Cypriot, and she was living in London, and he met my father. She met my father there. So I was born in London, and then I came very young to Greece, to
Mhm.
Athens. So I literally grew up there. I was like 1 years old when I came to Athens.
So are you a British citizen?
Yes, yes,
Ah.
yes.
That's so interesting. You're so Greek to me. You're so
Well, I
Greek.
have a British passport
Both of
also.
your parents are Greek.
My mother was born in Cyprus, so it's a different country, but
Cyprian.
Cypriot, yeah.
Mhm.
But she lived all her life in England. So yeah, and then I came to Greece and I grew up there. And generally, my life experience has been very interesting and bumpy as I perceived it. And I feel I am very grateful now having the ability to see it that way because it brings me here sitting with you.
Mm.
So I never was so up for philosophy or like I was just contemplative. Like I was just very curious. Things were happening and I'm like, why is this happening? Like I remember my my parents got a divorce when I was like 8 and they were talking to each other and I'm like looking at them from afar. I'm like, why am I here? Who are they? Like why are they talking like this? So I always had this different sense, this different perspective that I could pull myself out from what is happening. And I'm grateful for that. And afterwards, while I was growing up, before I left Greece at when I was 18, and I went to study in England. Um, I was like looking for ways to connect with my ancestry somehow because
So you left when you were 8 and moved back to
eight
England.
no 18
Oh, 18.
18
Ah, okay.
I went back to England to study
For college,
for college,
university.
yes, for
Okay. What'd
university.
you study?
I studied system science, which is very interesting because it's a very holistic practice, but
Mm-hmm.
also very analytical, which it kind of represents me because I'm both. System science, and then in Cambridge, I studied philosophy of finance and management. So it's
Wow.
yeah, it's interesting.
Wow. Philosophy of finance
And
and
management,
management.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So generally, thinking has been a very dominant thing in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking, contemplating, and then of course life taught me that it's also about feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was quite, let's say, I don't know where stop me where I kind of like when I digress, but like I was for many years kind of like disconnected from my emotions, and then I got the opportunity to connect again. So philosophy has helped me to has gave me some context around my emotions, my connecting my brain and my heart in some way.
What was that gave you that opportunity to reconnect?
My own suffering, I guess, because I felt that, well, I had a lot of kind of questions when I was growing up. I was, my mother died when I was like 22 years old. Then I was extremely career driven till, well, I still love, offering and being creating and working. However, when I was younger, till about I was 32 or 33, I was almost workaholic.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very very career driven.
And you were corporate business world.
Yes, I was like, I was in trade. I was in working in international trade. We were importing like fashion things from China, India, and Asia generally for many years. Had my own company, like it's a whole new story, a whole story. So I learned to be like a little bit uptight and very mental. And also in combination with my life, that brought me to a big crisis in like identity crisis.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my own confusion and questioning, and like, why do I feel this way? Why my relationship is like this way? Why I'm spending like 15 hours a day working and the only I care is that? Why I'm not feeling? So this opened me up,
Mm-hmm.
and a whole new journey started, which is beautiful.
At around 33.
Well, I think at 33, I realized I closed my main business that had to do with trade in China, and then I went completely the other way in sustainable fashion, and that's how Generation Generous started.
Uh-huh.
I was so passionate about showing the world that we can do fashion better. I was like an activist for sustainable fashion.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, for people who aren't aware, like non-organic, fashion is it's one of the most, non-organic cotton in the US is the highest pesticide crop that exists. It's like, more pesticides are used in cotton production than anything else. That's a really gnarly. And then add that to like the, Chinese some of the practices in China, like and around this,
Mhm.
and then sweatshop labor in various different countries, and
Yes.
it's a really pretty gnarly industry.
And I
It
was
can be.
and I was in it, and I was actually contributing to it for many years, and I saw everything.
And were you aware of that? Like,
Of course,
yeah.
I was a manager of like many people, and I saw everything. I saw child labor, I saw the pollution, I saw everything.
And did you have to like turn your head to? You had to like look the other
Well,
way.
I was. So it took me some time to forgive myself around that, but then I'm like, of course, of course I did forgive myself,
Yeah.
because otherwise you cannot move
Well,
forward.
you didn't create the system. You just
Well, yeah, I was participating though, and
sure.
okay, then I felt that I had to do something to change it.
Hmm.
So then I became kind of an activist for how to recognize, how to buy the right brands, how to recognize, how to choose better clothes, how to know and ask questions about your clothes, who made my clothes, and all things like that. So I was in that for a good 6 7 years, and Generation Generous was created as an idea, as a brand. I was making bags from recycled plastic bottles, and we were turning recycled plastic bottles into fabric.
Mm.
at an ethical, like at a really beautiful workshop. So that's how it started. And then I had, I think, my more severe burnout, second burnout after that, when I realized that, wow, I'm actually trying to change something, and I'm like doing things outside of me, but inside of me, I'm not feeling aligned. I'm not, there's something I haven't
Mm.
resolved. So I basically took 2 years off
Mm-hmm.
to travel. It's when I started when I became a digital nomad at like 37, 38.
Yeah, and you were like living on a boat at one point, right?
That was way after that. The boat was during COVID.
Where did you go? Okay, so where did you go? Tell us about your. Where did you travel?
Well, we didn't travel too much because it was COVID times, and in the beginning we couldn't leave the
No,
port.
not just the boat. I mean, like
Ah,
before, like
oh, before.
when you became a digital nomad. Like,
Well,
what was that like? Like, you
that was
just were like,
beautiful.
I'm quitting my job, or like you how
I closed my. I'm like I'm
you
put.
closed your sustainable fashion business.
Well, I didn't close it because then now I'm like revamping it from a different
That's
perspective.
generation generous,
Yes.
right?
I was like, I'm leaving this aside. I'm like finishing some contracts, and then I took some time off. I had the blessing and the luxury to have collected some funds from that work, and I needed that.
Mm-hmm.
So I started. My first destination was Cape Town because I am a lover of kite surfing. So
Right,
in
you're a
the
kite
wind.
surfer.
So I was like, what's the best place to go to kite surf? Cape Town. So I literally booked a one with a return ticket then, which I never returned.
You just stayed in Cape Town for
I
a while.
stayed Cape Town for 3, 4 months, and then I went straight to Bali.
Mm-hmm.
From Bali, I went back to Athens. Then I went to Tarifa, Brazil. I kited all of Brazil, like all the north part of Brazil. Um, did a New Year's there, amazing.
What is kite surfing like? Explain what kite surfing is to people who don't know.
Kite surfing is a sport that you have a kite, like a kite on top of you, and you literally like you are tied with the harness here, and you have a board like a board. How do you call like
A
the
surfboard.
not you can use also surfboard, but it's a two directional board that you can go back and forth, like the wind hits you from the back, and you're just like cruising, and also you can jump.
Kind of like a skateboard.
Well, I think it started as a sport on land with skateboard. That's why I was thinking here, I was telling to friends that I'm like, there is wind here and there is no ocean. I need to find a way to use the wind. So maybe I buy a kite and a skateboard and go around Alegria.
Oh, and there is a skate park in Oratina as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I'll tell you
thanks.
about that. But so but it's like paragliding. So it's like a paragliding thing. Like you hold on to the kite,
You hold, well, actually, you are tied to
you're
it.
strapped to it.
You're strapped to it. So you just have your steering.
Oh, okay.
You don't hold it because it's
And the
very big.
board is strapped to your feet,
Yes.
like
Well, you can take it
a
off.
snowboard kind of thing.
Yes, but you have choice. You can either strap it or you can. It's a beautiful.
It sounds so intriguing. Yeah, it's really interesting.
It's very freeing.
So so that was kind of your passion. You've going around the world looking for kite
For
surfing
wind.
destinations. Yeah,
Yeah.
following the wind.
Bali was not a kite surfing destination. Bali was like a destination for healing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it served very well. It was beautiful. I loved. I stayed there for a couple of years. It was beautiful
Mm.
for the time that I was there. I wouldn't go back now, but to stay there. But like, yeah, it was a beautiful experience. Generally, feeling um, opening that chapter for me because in the past I was living. Of course, I was traveling all the time because of the work.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Yet I know that discovering the world as a digital nomad or like a location independent professional has been a big blessing for me because this is all I ever wanted, to be free to earn my living and do my work and offer my work, and at the same time choose where I am. And I love traveling, I love new experiences, I love meeting new people, and
Mm-hmm.
so it has been beautiful.
And so at some point you got into what, coaching, like one-on-one
Yeah.
coaching. What kind of drove you towards that? I mean, I guess the freedom to move around is nice, but like I think to do that kind of work, you have to have some kind of like angle or some kind of like passion to help people, right? So
Yeah.
what was it that like drove you into coaching, like,
Great
or how did
question.
that start, I guess?
Thank you for that. Well, I never imagined that I would be a coach, or I would serve as a coach or a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that I have a lot to discover more in this. Yet it was just very intuitive. I felt that I had some sort of energy, or I wisdom, or something that was through me, that I was able to give, to offer. So it was not just the mental things, because when I was traveling, I was studying also. I wasn't just having fun. I, I became a meditation teacher in India. Then I learned like this method to shift limiting beliefs, Psyche, that I'm very passionate about. I learned so many, like body work, I made ecstatic dance and movement and embodiment. So I learned so many skills along the way,
Mm-hmm.
which helped me heal and find, align with. When you say authentic, I hear, to me, my authenticity is defined like what I think, and this is like ancient kind of Greek like thing. What you think, what you feel, and what you do is in alignment.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I always wished that, and I always knew that when I found that, I would feel peace.
Mm.
So I felt that I could gift that to other people, even not just with the tools, but just with the vibration that I could hold for them, and the space, the presence. So it started organically, and then, of course, now it's supporting also my life,
Mm-hmm.
which is beautiful. And I'm very excited to see the new things that I am going to create around this, the new things that I'm going to offer.
Yeah, I'm curious, like, what is your next? So you've done so much. You've came from, business and fashion, and then sustainable fashion, and then like going into coaching, and now, so what's the next like avenue for you? Like, what's exciting you and lighting you up?
What is lighting me up? It's lighting me the fact that I am able to be with people and feel them and listen to them, and also um, help them have, like, gift them something that I already have, that I don't feel that I achieved this, or like whatever. My life journey, like how old I am, but like my life journey is has been so synchronistic to bring me here, just in the right moment, to be able to open up to some information or whatever. So I would love to explore how I'm able to give this information. So whether this is my coaching, I'm preparing like an online course, group coaching
Mm.
through dance and embodiment of emotions, um, and also incorporating philosophy, of course, and diálogos. This is one of my dreams, to gather people together, to be able to converse, to learn the true value and the true wisdom that is created by diálogos.
Dialogues, Conver-
Dialogue is diálogos in Greek. So
conversation.
conversation, yet with no expectation. When you go into a dialogue in ancient Greek, you go with your position, yet with no expectation of outcome, and being open to listen. So when that finishes, you don't know what is the outcome. So I love to invite people to this inner exploration, but also community exploration
Mm-hmm.
in their life, how this manifests.
Yeah, and that communication often can, I suppose it can lead to new innovations and ideas that haven't been explored before,
For
because
sure.
it's that dialogue, diálogos, that is like the like the exchange of information, really, and being open. I love that about being open, and like that's an important side of it, because so many,
Mm.
of course, there's a lot of people that are just trying to argue their position and like not really open to hear and
To
receive
listen.
fully. So interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're also, of course, our local ecstatic dance and DJ. You DJ'd our New Year's party at midnight. You
Yes.
can find her on Spot or on SoundCloud
SoundCloud.
at Alchemies,
DJ Alchemist. Yeah.
DJ Alchemies, and we'll put that on the screen. And you also DJ'd our a birthday party last weekend in our local community. Super super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so much, such a great time. I always enjoy your vibe and dancing to your music.
Thank
So thank you for bringing that to our community.
thank you.
Yeah. What's next? What else? I mean, we're kind of like touched on all the bases. I mean, we could talk about, you could, of course, where people can reach you, so
Mm-hmm.
that if they want to like connect with you
Yeah.
around any of this stuff.
I mean, the best way to reach me is Instagram. So it's like, I guess you're right. It is underscore alchemist underscore in Instagram. And there it's like when I'm holding my space and planning to grow there. Um, so yeah, if you want to find me, just find me there.
Mm-hmm.
And next, I am very excited. I'm really very excited because I feel so grateful to be here with you, here with everybody, here with my challenges. I've been having a lot of challenges lately that have been arriving, and
Mm.
I am so grateful for them. So for me, now it's like what I told you on my birthday, that I'm 1 years old now, because last year I was like zero and I'm like, okay, I'm born, and now I'm one. I feel that a new version of me is manifesting in the world, and I'm very I feel very strong and very aligned with that. Happy to be a gift to myself and to other people
Mm-hmm.
by being me. Finally,
Mm.
I feel that that's one of the most difficult things for people, to finally uh, find the courage to be us and communicate.
Yeah. Well,
So
we're doing it. This is
so I'm here for a while. So you're
yeah.
gonna, yeah,
Well, we get to converse dialogo mas. We'll get to dialogue mas with each other.
for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and you're wearing a bougainvillea. That was you just discovered our bougainvillea. You lived here for for over a month and didn't realize the giant bougainvillea there.
Right. Yeah, I love this.
And what else are you wearing here? I just want to, you're very adorned today.
Yes. Well, this I don't remember the name. I've been told the name, but it's a seed.
Oh.
It exists in Argentina. I've been told the name like 3 times and I forget it, but you know,
Mhm.
it's a seed of a flower. And this is a citrine crystal.
Citrine. I know you're very intentional, so I assume
I
everything
love,
you're wearing
yes.
is
So
very intentional
this
today.
this has been gifted from a friend of mine that we were living in London. She's a good friend, and she traveled to Brazil and she gifted to me. She said, when I saw it, I thought of you, and I just wear it. And this I bought it from Bali actually, and
Hmm.
it's been with me for a while.
Okay.
This is a gift. This is just gold and platinum from a very good friend of mine as well.
Nice.
And Bougainvillea it's one of the best flowers.
Yeah. What does bougainvillea represent for you?
Well, it's everywhere. If you see Greek islands, is like blue, white, and Bougainvillea, like this fuchsia. For me, it represents summer. It represents joy
Is there a lot of bougainvilleas out there?
a lot.
Uh huh.
It represents joy. It represents vitality, power. Like, because it's a powerful color, but it has like good like powerful energy. And yeah, it's alive.
Yeah.
Life.
It's alive. It's bold.
It's bold.
They have sharp spikes, so
Right.
you don't mess with a bougainvillea.
So it's more like, strong, sensitive, because it's sensitive with boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
So it's beautiful.
Okay, yeah, that's good. This is what okay, full circle. And if people okay, so people can reach you on Instagram. Do you have any upcoming shows?
Um,
What's the next dance opportunity?
well, I have a dance on the 20th of January.
This episode
At
may
a,
come out after that.
oh yeah.
Well, maybe
Well,
we'll push it. Maybe we can get it out before
well, okay.
20th of January.
20th
Where?
at Embody at Atenas,
Okay.
which Atenas, Athens. Again, it's so
Right. You came
synchronistic
from Athens
to
to
Atenas.
Athens, which is Athens in Spanish, right?
Right. So there, yet I'm so and let's see. After that, I don't know. I'm taking everything by feeling. So let's see. I'm very, very passionate to offer more dances here.
Okay.
So once we sort out the sound system situation, we are already talking with, the people who are, because there are more DJs
Yeah,
here.
there's a number of
Yeah,
DJs.
so I'm excited to see us collaborating. I love collaborating with more people.
Okay. Well, I have a sound company, so if you ever need sound for your event,
Ooh,
you can hit me up.
okay.
And we can work that out, and we can also bring DJ Alchemies if you need a DJ. We're a full service production suite.
Right.
Okay, well, Natasha, thank you so much for being here with us. This has
Mm.
been a really lovely, tranquilo conversation, as I knew it would be with you because you're so deep and philosophical. Um, Natasha Athanasiadou, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
It's an honor
it is an honor
and a pleasure.
and a pleasure. And here's to honor and pleasure. This is La Vida Verde podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Human here. And we release episodes every Tuesday on YouTube. You can see me and the beautiful Natasha there. You can also listen to us on Spotify. You can listen to us on what's it, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. We are on Instagram at Finca Vida Verde CR. We are on Facebook, Finca Vida Verde. And please, if you like this kind of content, you please go to our Patreon and support us, because this is all, we create this, on our own. We have no budget. We're just kind of doing it as we can. And that's Finca La Vida Verde podcast at Patreon. And and we have some special content there if you're interested, and we can keep it going. We'll see you next week for another great episode from Finca Vida Verde. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.